we're looking at doing wildflower planting, and we're in discussions with the local beekeeping association for the North West and Lancashire about setting aside some land for beehives. So about the actual development, it's a 15.2 hectare site, which I've worked out is about 21 football pitches if you use sort of Anfield as an example, and about 55% of that site will be covered with panels. The way the panels are sort of aligned, when I say covered, they'll be sort of sat at an angle of approximately 25 degrees, 2.5 metres at the back, with about between 4.5 and 5.5 metres, depending on final designs and layouts. And sort of a lot depends on which panel design we use. When we do the assessment work for that, we assess at worst possible case. So there aren't any panel manufacturers that produce any panels higher than 2.5 metres. So we will take our appraisal work up to 2.5 metres and do it at worst case. So anything final design should be, it's usually, well, these days they're more 1.8, so sort of a little bit shorter than myself. On the site itself, there'll be a number of small transformation enclosures, so where the electricity is collected, transferred, and before it's put into the grid. So I'm not an electrical engineer, so I won't start and bore you with the details of how all of that works. But that's all happening on site. The point of connection, there's the northernmost point of the site is a 33 kV network, which we're in discussions with Electricity North West about the connection there, and that's running in, and that's all on site. So there'll be no requirement to dig up roads or anything like that. Like you'll see, I don't know when the wind farm was done, but I think there was quite a long connection run. So there'll be no works alongside which require any sort of road work. As part of our proposals, the site itself has a footpath, and our site will sit to the north and to the south of that footpath. In doing so, it'll be fenced off either side just for security reasons, but that will only be a deer type fencing about 2 metres high, and it's more for a deterrent and also to keep livestock within the site. And alongside that, if you go back looking through, so we've done a number of studies, including archaeological studies, and you can see through the maps that have been put together over time, various hedgerows that have been removed to make agriculture a much bigger as machinery grows, etc. So we're looking at reinstating the original hedgerows that were there. So either side of the footpath, that was a field boundary originally, and to the north of the site there's another one which we're looking at putting in. In terms of need for security, there's no 24 hours, but there's no one on site during the day. A couple of times a month the development will be visited for maintenance checks, people to sort of just check metering, and just to check everything's as it should be. There is the occasional need to have CCTV on site. Everything will be facing inwards, and that will all be, won't be sort of 24-hour on. It's more likely to be sort of infrared, so if someone breaks the beam. But these are things that are discussed sort of and put together at a very final stage, depending on how so when we do it, we work with an engineer eventually. At the moment it's just us looking at the plans, then we have an engineer come on board, so it's sort of final designs get agreed with the council after any planning permission is granted. Alongside, I should have said earlier on, as well as biodiversity, we put in insect hibernacular, sort of bits of logs and things underneath the panels for stag beetles and ants and other insects. Well, our ecologist, who is a sort of expert in the field, has done a number of these, and it's sort of proven to work. So these are various options that we are looking at.